This video is brought to you by Andar. Today we're comparing Google's new Pixel tablet versus Apple's iPad 10, two similarly priced entry-level flagship tablets that are actually quite different, not just in the way they look, but more so in what they can do and how they can be used. This means that depending on what you look for in a tablet and how you plan to use it, one of these will be better over the other. Now, I've extensively used and tested both tablets, and today I'll share everything you need to know. But first, I am doing a giveaway on this brand new iPhone 14, and if you want a chance to win, be sure to like this video and leave a comment with your Instagram username, and then follow me on Instagram at @JanSchuddeboom, where I will announce the winner on the 16th of July. Now, to keep things simple, I'm going to refer to the iPad 10 as the iPad and the Pixel tablet as the Pixel. Now, the iPad features a squared off aluminum and glass design that is quite similar to the iPad Air and iPad Pro, and I think it looks especially good in this really vibrant bright blue color. Where by comparison, the Pixel tablet has a more rounded, still aluminum and glass design, but then also adds this nice ceramic coating, which I think especially in this porcelain color will blend very well into any home. To me, the iPad does look more premium, but the rounded corners on the Pixel are more comfortable to hold. Now, another difference between the two is the shape, where the iPad has more of a square form factor and the Pixel is more rectangular. And this does actually impact how you use the device, but I'll talk more about that in a sec. In terms of biometrics, both have fingerprint scanners, so these are integrated in the power button. I would say they're both equally accurate, but the Pixel is faster, as to unlock, all you have to do is just rest your finger, where on the iPad you first have to wake the display and then swipe. The dual speakers on the iPad have better mids and bass, but the quad speakers on the Pixel offer better overall clarity. Plus, they also have better placement when compared to the iPad speakers, as particularly in landscape mode, it's quite easy to cover them, and this is an issue that you're not going to have on the Pixel. Looking at the displays, the iPad has a 10.9-inch display compared to the slightly larger 11-inch display on the Pixel. I will say this difference in size is barely noticeable, but what is more noticeable though is the difference in aspect ratio, where the 3:2 aspect ratio on the iPad is ideal for running multiple apps side by side, and I found it to be a little bit more comfortable to use for note-taking and drawing by hand, where by comparison, the more narrow 16:10 aspect ratio on the Pixel is ideal for watching videos, since the video fills more of the display and you get less black bars on the top and bottom. Both displays go up to 500 nits of brightness, meaning they're bright enough for any indoor setting, and can even be used outdoors so long as it's not too sunny. And I also found both to have really accurate color output, meaning that you can use them for photo editing, video editing, and viewing content will generally look quite true to life. One pretty big advantage that the Pixel display has in particular is that it is laminated, and this means there is no gap between the top glass layer and the display that sits underneath. And as a result, this really makes your content feel more immersive, and when you're using the tablet, it feels like you're touching the pixels directly. Where on the iPad, you don't even have to look that close to see a visible gap between the top glass layer and the display underneath. I wouldn't consider it a deal breaker, but side by side, the display on the Pixel is definitely better overall. See, this is why the iPad needs a stand. Unlike the Pixel, it's very difficult to set up right when I'm filming. Now, many people buy a tablet to draw or take handwritten notes, and the iPad is compatible with the first generation Apple Pencil. Now, while I do wish it was compatible with the newer second generation Pencil, the first generation Pencil is still very good, especially when compared to third-party options. It is fast, accurate, and integrates really well into iPad OS. Now for the Pixel, Google unfortunately do not offer a stylus. Now there are third-party options, but these will vary quite widely in quality, and it simply will not be as integrated as the experience you get with the Apple Pencil. I would say if you plan to use your tablet for note-taking or handwritten notes, go for the iPad. But what about keyboards? Well, for the iPad, Apple make the Magic Keyboard Folio, and it is expensive at $250, but it is also very good. It comes with an excellent trackpad built in, and here again, Google offers no first-party keyboard for the Pixel, so if you do plan to write long emails, write out scripts, anything like that, the iPad will be the better option. One accessory that is available for the Pixel, and in fact comes included in the box, is this speaker dock. Now, what is really cool is this will magnetically align and attach the Pixel to make it super easy to charge and keeps it in this nice floating position, and I think looks really good in the home. When it is docked and powered, it will show a photo gallery and also show the time and weather, and the dock actually also has a built-in speaker, and I found it to be really quite good. You get good clarity, nice highs, nice mids. Would have liked a little bit more bass, but it still gets plenty loud to fill a medium-sized room. I have mine set up in my kitchen, and it's great to play some music or listen to a show in the background while I'm cooking my Michelin star meal. The Pixel really is the only tablet that offers this sort of all-in-one dock and speaker solution, and then also includes it in the box, and this does enable a use case that is simply not possible on the iPad. However, when it comes to other accessories like a stylus or a keyboard, the iPad will be the clear better choice. Speaking of accessories, let me show you a fantastic accessory for your iPhone. This is the Aspen, a full-grain leather case for the iPhone from Ander. Now it comes in a range of colors. Here I have the Camel 10 for my 14 Pro Max, and then the brown for my iPhone 14 Pro. First impressions matter, and the presentation here is on point. Ander used recycled packaging and provide a nice cloth dust bag in the box. When you take out the case for the first time, the aroma of the 100% full grain leather just hits you right away, and the supple full grain leather feel in the hand is just gratifying, and the precise craftsmanship and fit and finish really tell you that this is no ordinary case. I especially like how the case offers surface protection, both for the display as well as the camera, using this metal ring. And speaking of metal, the buttons are actually made out of aluminum alloy as well, which means they retain that satisfying click. The case also retains MagSafe compatibility and uses a soft interior to prevent scratches to your iPhone over time. With the Aspen case, you get a sense of luxury that you rarely get with a case. Where most cases take away from the design of the iPhone, the Aspen case actually adds to it. To upgrade your iPhone, be sure to head to the links in the description and use code DionMedia for 15% off site-wide and a 90-day return policy and free exchanges for that extra peace of mind. Cameras, particularly the front cameras, are especially important on a tablet for video calls. So the iPad has a 12 megapixel front camera, where the Pixel has an 8 megapixel front camera, and both cameras are placed in the horizontal position, which means that you get a much more natural angle in a call as opposed to looking off to the side. I found the iPad's camera to produce more accurate skin colors compared to the often overexposed look on the Pixel, and the iPad also performs better in low light. Now in terms of the microphone, here too the iPad has the advantage with a more natural sounding voice compared to the Pixel. And then if you're someone who uses the rear camera to take photos or videos on your tablet, something I will never fully understand, the iPad does have a significant advantage with a 4K rear camera. Powering the iPad is Apple's A14 Bionic chip, and the Pixel uses Google's Tensor G2 chip. Now these are both in-house processors, which is always a good sign. Let's take a look at some performance data. Now in Geekbench 6, the numbers show that the iPad significantly outperforms the Pixel in every test, especially in the GPU test. The question is, how do these numbers translate to real-world use? Honestly, not how you may think. In fact, in the real world, both are actually really snappy and keep up well during normal day-to-day tasks. Opening apps is fast, switching between apps is fast, though I will say apps do stay open for longer in the background on the iPad, and in heavier apps like gaming or editing photos in Lightroom, the iPad does perform slightly better and does have an overall smoother experience. What is also great is that both the iPad as well as the Pixel will get 5 years of software support and security updates, and this means that they should last for a long time. That said though, the improved performance numbers that you get on the iPad will likely mean that, say 3, 4, even 5 years down the road, the iPad will perform better compared to the Pixel as updates and apps grow in size. Just better to have more headroom. And then when it comes to the operating system, I think Google have come a long way in optimizing Android for tablets. They've added this really handy dock to quickly pull up apps, and more apps are being optimized for the larger display. However, iPadOS has been refined over many years, and as a result, it does feel more polished. iPadOS also has more advanced multitasking features like slide over and split view, and the iPad also has far more iPad-specific apps in the App Store that are not just smartphone apps made bigger. Overall, you get a better software experience on the iPad, though I do like the ability to have multiple users on the Pixel, and it's something I would love to see added to iPadOS. In terms of battery, both are great. So the Pixel lasts a little bit longer, coming in at 12 hours compared to the roughly 10 hours or so that you get on the iPad. But what this really means is that with lighter use, both can easily last you 2, even 3 days. And both also use USB-C to charge, which is great to see this universal standard included. Looking at you, Apple, finally. Okay, so which is best for who? Well, the iPad 10 comes in at $449 and starts at 64 gigabytes, where the Pixel tablet comes in at $499, but starts with 128 gigabytes. And then if you go for the 256 gigabyte model, which is the one that I would recommend, especially for the iPad, they're both $599. So which is best for who? I would say the iPad is ultimately the more powerful tablet, not just in performance, but also in functionality, with support for the Apple Pencil, keyboard accessories, as well as better cameras and an overall better, more polished software experience. It is a device that you can use both for content consumption as well as content creation, and can genuinely act as a secondary or even primary computer depending on your workflow. And the same thing can't be said about the Pixel tablet. The Pixel tablet has a more specific use case as a smart hub, primarily docked in the home for more casual use. And it does this really well, especially with the useful included speaker dock. But all of that said, my advice for most, you'll likely be better off buying the more versatile iPad 10 as it fits and can adapt to far more use cases, but I do suggest you go for that 256 gigabyte model. But anyway guys, those are my thoughts on how the iPad 10 compares to the new Pixel tablet from Google. I think it is great to see more competition from other brands in the tablet market, as Apple has sort of been at the top for too long, so it's time to have some competition and push both brands to do better. Let me know if you have any questions at all, guys. As always, I will leave the purchase links to both products down in the description, and if you haven't seen them yet, I highly recommend watching my iPad buyer's guide, which will compare all of the current iPad models to find out which is best for you. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.